All right, so we closed on the property. When I say we, I mean me and Miss Lily, my four-legged friend. So here is day one after closing, getting ready to do some cleanup. I guess you could call it land clearing. When I started off doing this with some very basic tools. Knowing what I know now, I would have went down there with a little something different, but we got great results. I spent about 6 days, I think it was 6 full days down here just trying to clean it up. And like I said in a previous video, this portion of the property was lived on for a number of years. Somebody had a pull behind trailer, maybe a regular mobile home up there. There were some stories about what had gone on. But at any rate, so, this is just cutting back all the overgrowth. I think the place actually sat vacant for the better part of 30 years. All the debris that they had left behind and then everything that grew up, just cutting all that down. And you can see as I'm walking around, huge improvement within the first couple of days. There's a number of clips that come together here, but man, what a bunch of junk. Like, here's just some of the stuff, and just a lot of random stuff everywhere. A lot of broken glass too. So, whoever was living on this spot wasn't walking with the Lord, so to speak. It just seemed like somebody was living on the frayed edges of society. And anyhow, so the footage isn't so great. This is just on my cell phone a few years back. You can get a gist. There was already a driveway in place. The driveway had a lot of issues, a lot of washouts. My truck's all-wheel drive, and I chose not to drive it up there because just there's a lot of overgrowth with the trees. Side by side went up there fine, and I could just tote some basic stuff up there. The dog's a little bit of a princess, so she wanted to be in her bed in the tent out of the sun for the most part. But you can see it's just this area was cleared off. It just became very overgrown. So here's one of the nights, in the evening, we would wind down, maybe cook a little food. I basically made a little makeshift in-ground grill, some bacon cheeseburger action going on there. One of the drums, kind of turned into a fire pit. At this point in time, there is a water line that's ran up there, but the water line had been disconnected and the meter was removed. Little Cracker Barrel, and then back at it again. So some of these different frames are just kind of an end of day overview. You'll notice that you can start to see more stuff, and it was a really interesting process because this property, I bought it from the actual landowner. She was a really cool woman, older lady, and she was a shark, man. She would basically had a lot of land in this area, and she would basically hold the note on it, so you would be paying her, and this person had gotten evicted. So I guess they weren't making payments, and she evicted them and took the property back. But I guess somebody tried to come up here and clean stuff up. That's like the remnants of a pull behind camper that was up there. There was a power line up there. I guess the power company came and cut the pole down and then reclaimed all the hardware, meaning like a transformer and the lines, just due to inactivity. I guess they were worried about scrap people coming and taking all of that equipment. But man, it was just such a mess, just crazy amounts of stuff. And I guess this over here, like you can see, like just a lot of trash and tires and all kinds of stuff. It just all gets thrown down the hill. Over here, I think this was some type of a makeshift shed, and I don't know if somebody just pushed it over with a tractor and tried to push it down the hill, and that's as far as it got. But I mean, an unbelievable mess. The video just really doesn't do it justice. I originally grew up in rural Pennsylvania, and it was kind of a farm town. It ended up being, a to-do place by the time I was in my mid-20s, but I was used to people having junk sitting around and stuff like that, but this was just kind of next level. When I first walked, you could see some of this stuff, but just there was almost no indication that it was like an onion. You just kept peeling back layers, and it was more and more and more stuff. It's a mess, but this was a great advantage because there was a driveway in place. It needed a lot of work, but this is, the property is shaped a bit like a rectangle, and this is just on a corner, and it has driveway access. So this just gets you into the property, which around here is a big deal, because clearing land and cutting a driveway in the side of a mountain or a hill, whatever you'd like to call it. It's a 150 foot of elevation change from the road to the top of this hill, so you could imagine that that's not getting done for just a little bit of money. But just, that's a huge pile of all the brush, little trees, and all kinds of stuff. And I had intended on either burning it once I get the water line hooked up, or having somebody chip it. So I was just going to leave that there. This is about the end of a 6-day run of just cleaning it up. I like to cook, so we were cooking some food out there. At this point in the game, we were, the tent was mainly for the dog, or if it started raining or something like that, but we were staying in a local hotel in the evenings just so you could get a shower and good night's sleep. This is a lot of hard work, so we weren't up for camping on site just because we didn't have any running water or anything like that. So you can actually see the place. So if you saw the original video that I posted where I just kind of walked the property, you really couldn't see anything. You just really had to use your imagination. And it was interesting to just start clearing this off and trying to see what were these people who were here doing, and what was the layout, because they basically knocked the top off of this hill, and flattened it out. The driveway kind of comes around the hill, if you would think of it like a sugar cone, like an ice cream cone, sitting upside down. They just knocked the pointy end off, and had excavation done to where they had a living space up top, and a lot of work to do that. But it was just interesting, like what was going on here. And you can see the shower. I don't know if that was from a mobile home, or it wouldn't have been in a pool behind camper. That's just way too big. So that there seems like the remains of a pool behind camper. There were marker lights on it. But yeah, so this where you see the pole, that's kind of the long ways. If you were to look straight out the road, is straight down there. There's still too many leaves on the trees for you to see that at this point. But the cool thing is like I said, we do have city water out here. So there is a city water line that was ran from the road up to here, which I was super excited about, because all I needed to do was get in contact with a water company and have them put a meter in down there, and then I would have access to city water for the next trip that I had made down here. And I was coming from Delaware down here to eastern Tennessee, just in proximity to Knoxville. So yeah, that water line was like a really exciting find for me. And then this is, we're just wrapping it up. This is very, very close to the end of this video. And then you're just going to kind of end where you can see like this pile of just debris, a lot of trash down this hill, and looked like there was some other wooden structure that was pushed down, and you get it.